You know what the Bible says in Proverbs chapter 18, verse 14? It says, the spirit of man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? If your spirit is wounded, if your heart is wounded, who can bear it? Who can bear it? But the spirit of man will sustain his infirmity, his weakness, the very thing that he's dealing with and struggling with. If he's got a strong spirit, he can endure. The spirit of man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit, who can bear it? Who can bear it? And that's why hope deferred makes the heart sick, if people have to wait too long. And if you ever notice how when Joshua had served Moses for many years and now Moses is dead, God had to speak 4 times in Joshua chapter 1 and tell Joshua, listen, Joshua, Moses, my servant, is dead. But now, Joshua, you're acting like a dead man. And God had to inspire him. He had to breathe into him. And when God inbreathed him, now what happens when Joshua begins to inbreathe him, Joshua begins to receive life. God's breathing in him the breath of life. And now Joshua becomes a living soul. How many times does God have to speak to you? And when you realize that God is speaking to you, that it's somehow that brings life to your soul. I don't know how many times you might have been to this church and you heard God speaking to you. And you know that it brought life to your soul. Just because you heard God speaking to you. One of the reasons that God does not expect anything from you until he has put something in you, until he has given you a word, he expects nothing from you. Did you know that? That's why God will do nothing, Amos 3:7, unless he revealed his secrets to his servants, the prophet. So the prophet can speak it out, and when they speak it out, now you have the power to do it because God has now invested in you. The moment that he has inbreathed you, you receive life, and the life of God comes in you. But God had to tell Joshua 4 times, Joshua, be thou strong and very courageous. Joshua, be of good cheer. Be of good courage. Only be thou strong and very courageous. Because it will take courage, and if you ever lose courage, you will sit out on the sideline and you will never try to live your dream only because you lost courage. But just realize that I believe that here are EMTs sitting all around here. And there are people that are passed out every place that you meet. You go to airports now, they've got defibrillators in the airport. They've got defibrillators in malls to help resuscitate people who have lost heart. And instead of using natural CPR to manipulate the heart, we want to inspire the heart.